there's a dynamic. It's a spiritual dynamic that you get into in intellectual conversations, discerning the spirit, where it's what I call non-talking talking. So there are people that are talking, but you're not really participating in the logos. You're just speaking to get your way or to win, to either convert the other one to your side, to your opinion, to your camp, or to get out of them what you want to get out of them. It's not kind of this flow dance where both of you are open to transformation and seeing new things and evolving and growing. And with a parent-child dynamic, that's a little different because there's an authority that a parent has that a child shouldn't have, so it's not like a peer conversation, but there's a way that this is mammon because it's a transaction. There's a way that you can use language to try to get your way, to get your point across, to get your whatever. There's a way that you can participate in language as a mechanism, as a tool to try to accomplish your will. And there's a way that you can participate in language, which I would say is much more flowy, much more agape, much more dialogos, where you let the spirit lead. Tim Keller's How to Disagree, gold. It's wonderful. How to Disagree Well is... I can't stop looking at this one strand of hair. It's many strands. How to Disagree, disagreeing for the sake of heaven. It involves self-emptying. It involves humility. The right brain has to be the master, not these zero-sum winning competitions. Christianity is not an ideology. Which means that it should have ideological diversity in it. You're insisting on your own way, you're being a heretic. I mean, how can expressing honest disagreement be heresy? You can't harvest the fringe of your own confidence in whatever you think, or else that collapses into an absolute totalizing certainty that makes it pointless you can't even truly engage except in a conversionist way with someone else. Which means you can't be open to the truth outside the truth you currently apprehend. Because you're in that exclusivist religion on the right side of history. And then there's no point in talking, except to dominate people. That's what the ideologue does.
To have shalom, to have peace, that doesn't mean we all have to have one truth. There's the ultimate truth that God has. And then there's truths, there are tensions, and we speak about this a lot, about diversity and unity. There could be diverse thoughts that can still be held together.
Totally. Don't center your entire identity in the map of your understanding. We have so much egoic attachment to our map. Like, you can disagree with someone without assaulting their character. It is possible to do that.
You want to learn how to say things like, it seems like you're dishonest.
So the idea is that there's no such thing as it being one or the other. It's just...
Here we come to the basic issue, the question of being. One of Korzybski's most radical suggestions consisted of dropping the word is from the English language entirely. English without is, which is called E prime.
He named it E prime?
No,
Can you give us a verbal example of how E prime would compare to a normal English sentence?
Garlic smells awful. That doesn't have the E is of identity in it, but it's an absolutist statement. A more operational statement is garlic smells awful to me. Because there are some people who like the smell of garlic.
So you're being clear that it's your personal observation that you're...
Yeah, and this is a point... Okay, well, let's not say this is. Let's take a time. Behind the Green Door is a pornographic movie. That's a statement in ordinary English. In E prime, it would come out, behind the Green Door seems like a pornographic movie to me, which qualifies as a scientifically valid statement unless you're lying about it to prove it, to win an argument or some trick like that. But to say it is pornographic is to imply that there's an essence of pornography in it, like the essence of the Jesus Christ in the host when the cannibals have their feast every Sunday.
The mature body of him who is the head, that is Christ. From him the whole body, joined and held together by every supporting ligament, grows and builds itself up in love as each part does its work. Anselman has his part to play. Gavin, like you have that, you talk about you're very analytical and you've got skills in that area. Like you bring that. Shari is probably like the opposite of that and in some ways, and yet you two come together. Like we all play our part in our role, beautifully in his body.
Yes.
And so we need dogmatists.
It's hard to be loving to your enemies.
Sure is. So like this comment, John Adamson. We are all searching. I might seem like a troll, but I really can't get my head around a loving God and Job or Noah. So I don't remember your name or you being trollish at all. And like this kind of comment is not trollish whatsoever. That's like,
It's a spectacular question. It's the deepest of all questions.
That's a fantastic
I
comment.
don't think anyone could get their head around Job.
Which if there is a point, maybe that's it.
It's about us. It's not about me. And to me, it seems like that matches up with Job and Noah and God. It's like, if it were about Job, that's not fair. If it were about all the people that drowned in a flood, that's not fair. But
Amen.
so like, I've wrestled with this too.
What about me?
You don't have to agree on everything, and you can still be friends.
I like the idea that we have tension here and that there are different viewpoints that are all kind of leaning on each other and leaning against each other, but that's kind of what holds it up.
Yeah. No, I agree. That this is why I talk about TLC versus Christian YouTube. Is, to me, TLC is the antidote for the spirit that I see behind Christian YouTube, which is the spirit that's in the rest of the world, which is why we're all here. So I don't want to turn this thing that is the solution for the rest of the world back into the thing that we're all trying to escape from.
Yeah.
Like that would be crazy to me.
Yeah. It's the tribal warfare here.
Yes.
I keep calling it, this is the tribe of no tribe. These are the people who don't fit in tribes, right? Even if we are part of tribes, like I'm a happy member of my parish. I'm very active member of my parish. I love my local parish. I love my local priest. I love my local men's group. But even then, they can only handle so much of this kind of conversation, right? Like your local relationships can only handle so much of deep, heavy conversation because it's too much of a strain. Like my wife, I can't talk to my wife about this stuff. Like she just looks at me like, what are you bringing to me? What is this? Go away, leave me alone.
Right.
Like, here, have some toast. Like, calm down. Right. And which is good. Like, I need that. She keeps me grounded.
The phronema of the church is about the tradition speaking as a whole. So, and
embodied. It's an incarnate, right? It's a whole thing lived, which is very different than a book, some books and some ideas.
Totally.
You can't make music without the tension of the lyre against the wall.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to enter into those conflicts and model what I think a Christian should do in those contexts, which isn't to clap back, which isn't to fight, which isn't trying to win an argument. It's trying to love in whatever situation the context provides.
Yeah, to do this sense-making dojo that has this foundation of love and care in it that affords all this high level, like we're able to sit in that paradox and do these conversational jujitsu. Our worldview here is comfortable with the blurriness, the periphery. So we have this sacred learned ignorance of we're not ever going to have all the answers. So we're open to all this dynamic conversational relating and maneuvering and playing. And so this is why I can't get enough of it. It's the cutting edge conversations. You never know where it'll go. It's all scaffolded with this cognitive science, cutting edge elegance. It's a special soup for me, man.